Peggy 18.
Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Graveayrd Keeper here on Not Your Professional Walkthroughs channel with me, your host Max. Well, I was thinking what would be another additional content that I can show you on the channel, and yes, in the start of my channel I actually did go into the dungeons and I did show you some of the combat and everything, but I did not talk about the enemies or what you can potentially find if you go into the mines. Therefore, I have prepared accordingly. Yes, I know that the axe, the pickaxe and the shovel are in terrible state, but they are not important. Also, I know that I'm completely broke, but on today's episode we will most likely be talking about the dungeon, what you can find in the dungeon, the purpose of you grinding through the dungeon, and so on and so on. So in my preparation for the dungeon, I have crafted the steel sword and also the steel armor. What you can see is that both the studies have been actually completed, and therefore I have decided to bring a ton of wine with me onto the dungeon, because if I hover over the red wine or the silver star quality red wine, what you see is that this also restores 30 HP and then 72 energy. So we should be perfectly fine dealing with all the possible enemies inside of the mines. Do know that in the mines you can come across ton of items which are deprecated, such as stools, chairs, whatever, which you can break apart and you can take home ton of broken down iron parts, nails and wooden pieces. So you will have ton of material which will quickly fill out your available slots. The fun thing is, however, that also the enemies inside of the dungeon will be dropping inventory. So each monster has a specific item which you can drop. Bats will drop the bat wings, jelly creatures will be dropping jello, then there are Iron Maidens which are dropping nails and other stuff. So if you go into the dungeons quite fast, you can find yourself having a full inventory. In one of the later updates, actually what happened was that you were not only picking up items such as seeds, bloody nails and all sorts of other junk, but also alchemy ingredients, from the powders to the distilled tubes and all sorts of other stuff. So hopefully I will be able to show you what a dungeon looks like today and we will be able to get somewhere. I have gone here after I slept. One of the main issues which you can find while you are at the dungeon is that you will be going back and forward because you are trying to remember where in the heck is the staircase to the lower level, but also you will need to clear out the entire level of all the enemies before you can proceed on to the lower level. So before I can get to level 2, I will have to kill everything in level 1. So let's take a look at what we can find here. So these barrels can be broken down. These urns, or what you want to call them, can be broken down too. Cool stuff like health potion can be dropped here as well. But mostly right now I will be utilizing stuff like the wine. And I totally did not want to use that one, but oh well. So I'm gonna be breaking apart everything that I come across right from the start. And as you can see, thanks to me having the steel sword, I'm kind of way too overpowered for the basic enemy which is spawning in the first level of the dungeon. Now usually you would think that you will just try to find your path to the lower sections of the dungeon. Unfortunately, Graveayrd Keeper doesn't work like that. You will actually have to clear out all the enemies. So this can take you quite a while, especially if there are very... Okay, fun stuff. I was kind of interrupted while I was recording, so... yeah, no freaking idea what I was talking about, so sorry about that. Okay, so... how are we doing so far? Cool thing here is that we are gonna pick up sufficient amount of the bat wings, and we have already found the staircase to the lower level. Unfortunately, as I said, need to kill all the enemies first. So you cannot just rush through each level, you will need to go through it, remember from which way you came, and also fun thing, the teleportation disc will not work in the dungeon for you. So you will need to track back, and especially this is why I would advise you to go to sleep with your character in your playthrough before you rush into the dungeon, because once you hit the being tired effect, you will be running out of energy, and just by swinging the sword constantly, I'm going through mine quite fast. And I'm thinking that I should have brought something else. So you see, we have been here for a few minutes only. I have 8 green jelly, which can be actually used also for cooking, and also alchemy, I do believe. Bat wings, which can give us the chaos solution, which we will require for the balsamic solution, which will then be used for one of the injections. 26 scrap metal, which can be crafted into iron ingots, and some simple iron parts, and one of the best things so far is the health potion, obviously. So we have cleared out this section. I still need to head upstairs or up this hallway to see what's in this room. So the fun stuff is that these dungeons actually do look like that, like they did serve a purpose. I just wonder what purpose, because we are in the cellar of a goddamn church. What if someone did not remember the page 628 from the Bible, they were sent down here? It's kind of harsh, no? Anyhow, let's see if we can get into the deeper level. Damn it! The thing is that on the next day we will have to conduct a sermon. I did not create the prayer for the increased quality of the corpses, because in order for me to actually craft a good quality prayer in that section, I will require a proper quality book. Now, we remember from the previous episodes where I talked about this that I actually required the jeweler perk in order to do so. And how in the world did I manage to skip you guys? This is the worst Witcher battle sequence ever. Just dodge and duck and all the other D's of dodgeball.
You're gonna learn to be true dodgeballers. Then you've got to learn the 5 D's of dodgeball. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. If you master the 5 D's, no amount of balls on earth can hit you.
Okay, now we should be clear to head into the lower level of the dungeon. So let's see if I can manage to do so. And potentially what will happen is I will then leave the dungeon, and after the sermon I will return back. I haven't done too much work in the meantime, and I will actually be forced to do a run for the ore and other materials which I will require for further crafting. Okay, so we are now in the level 2. If I would now select which level I want to go to, if I would go once again level 1, the level has been already generated, so I should not have an issue with this. If I would go to level 2, we have not explored the level as of yet. If you are running low on HP or energy, you can leave the room 1 which you started to explore. Go to bed, restore the HP and energy if you do not have any remedies which restore HP for your character. It will take forever, so I advise you to do it throughout the night. And then you can return and continue clearing out the room. But this is why I actually brought the wine, so this way I have the energy and HP on me at all times. So what I will do now most likely is clear out the inventory. So overall, out of the really short dungeon run, we have 53 metal scrap, which is great for smithing or crafting or smelting. Bat wings for alchemy, green jelly, I still need to study in order to utilize it, simple iron parts, few nails, some ceramic bowls. And in order for us to get the diary, I will actually need to keep clearing out the levels and finish the dungeon. So I will need to go through all 15 levels of the dungeon in order to actually bring the book to our favorite astrologer, who will then be able to let us proceed further within the story. Of course, I will also need to interact with Snake in the meantime. I will need to work with Merchant and all the other NPCs, but I'm kind of skipping ahead, so I'm not gonna be leaving anything in here. Can we make at least one more wine? Yeah, no, we cannot. On the next episode, most likely, I will show you how it looks when you start working on the zombie vineyard. I have checked the wiki page. Now, by the time you are actually watching this episode, some time has passed. I will try to change up the recording and the editing of the footage so that I am more up to date, as right now I have more footage prepared for future uploads on my channel, just to make sure, because sometimes I just do not have the time to come from work and do the editing, especially if the footage is super long or stuff happens. And yeah, so this will let me stay more up to date, check the wiki in the meantime, see if more information has been uploaded onto there. By the time I will be uploading this footage onto the channel, the wiki might have been updated, but when I looked into wiki as of now, there was no new information as of yet published regarding the Stranger Sins DLC and more, so I will definitely try to keep this in mind and see what will happen. Now, the reason why I'm not delivering anything to the merchant for now, despite the fact that I can actually drop off the onions and pumpkins, and soon I might be able to drop off some onions of gold star quality or pumpkins of gold star quality. I will see about that. The reason why I want to do the dungeon right now is because I want the meat stamp from Snake. so I don't have to pay 50 silver to obtain it. So in order for me to proceed further with the Inquisitor, I will be able to start selling the burgers. Of course, I will also need to ramp up my beer production, which is why I am having these zombies grow wheat for me. I will actually start growing with the better zombie carrot so that I have something for Donkey, because right now you will not hear him drop off any corpse, because I don't want to run away from the dungeon in the middle of some sort of level, trying to get back up here, taking the body apart before it decomposes heavily, and just this is annoying, but okay. You will be working on the wheat because we will require it for the beer production. I'm gonna drop off the jelly in the kitchen for now, and let's run off into the church to do the sermon. So wings will stay in the cellar. This will stay here. Let's cook up some more toast with onions. So the reason why I also want to do the dungeon right now is because we still need to drop off some bloody nails to Snake, and if Iron Maidens are the enemy which drop these specific items, I will be forced to get into deeper levels of the dungeon to obtain it. So another successful sermon. Beautiful. 38 fate at this time. Now, if I would look into the construction, I will actually be able to see that if I want to put in another incense burner, down here below this bench and the confessioner, there is one more slot like this where I have the incense burner. So I can potentially drop down here and here 2 more of those so that I would have even more points. But right now we are running at 69. When I get better tech for the church, like the confessional level 2 or the candelabras level 3, we will be running at even higher levels, but we will require this in order to run the sermons for the one and only cathedral once I will be maybe able to purchase this. So we do not have anything for you, unfortunately. I'm not gonna spend too much time with our boss, the bishop. Our fate points are stacking up rather nicely, which is always nice to see. The gold star quality story I received when I researched the armor which I'm wearing. We have dramatically increased our money because I was running around with only 3 silver and now I have actually 11, so we managed to pull off 8 silver something in that one sermon. So what I'm going to do right here is head into the bed and we will proceed with the dungeon. I want to get at least somewhere in the dungeon in this episode specifically, and after this episode I will proceed to go after the DLC content. So this is a little break because I will require specific preparation for further progress within the story. I did not look into it, but if I will be forced to run off to see and talk with the NPCs in order to get further, I will need to have prepared resources and everything in order to pull this off. So let's take a look at level 2 here at the dungeon. We immediately start with pumpkin seed, silver quality. This is great. I'm saving a lot of money at the farmer that I don't have to purchase my seeds there. Okay, let's take a look. Sometimes it's good to even check these bookshelves. It did happen to me that I was able to obtain something from it. Now, when you will be running through the dungeon, I do advise you to come prepared, because you can actually find stuff like an iron vein or silver vein or gold vein, or heck, even a large crystal which can be broken apart into, and I do believe, yes, the diamond. So if you come across these things and you did not unlock the tech before, you will not be able to actually get the resources from it, and you will be then either forced to skip the resource or to return here later on once you have cleared out the dungeon level. You see, so this is why it's actually good to check the bookshelves. There can be something useful in them. So far, these ones are totally empty. Cool thing is that if you know that you will be returning to this spot and your inventory is being filled up, what you can do is drop off the junk which you don't want to carry on yourself, and then select only the items so that you don't have to, for example, destroy the bat wings or something which is already in your inventory. Okay, this is a big room full of bats and jello. So this will be quite resource intensive. Kind of happy I fixed the axe. This will allow me to restore everything or break down everything which I managed to come across. Kind of glad I did pick up the pancakes and the berry juice, just because of the fact that I am not utilizing the wine and not wasting my, well, basically health potions on just basic energy restoration. So I still cannot get deeper into the level because we took the southern path and I still need to run all the way up this hallway in order for me to get into the deeper level. So hopefully by the time this day when Snake manifests in the cellar of our church, we will have the bloody nails and we will be able to proceed further along in the storyline of both Snake and Miss Charm. Remember, we also require Snake to get further for some other purposes, and also we require Miss Charm to promote the business which we have started in one of the previous episodes with the merchant. Is there anything in here? Okay, so this should be probably, hopefully, it for the entire level. Let's go take a look at if we can reach the lower section of the dungeon. I will see you at the staircase.
12 o'clock midnight.
Alrighty, so let's take a look. Wonderful, so level 3, and immediately we see the issue with this dungeon level. We have the choice to go to the right and then up or down here. So let's take the closer hallway and see where it leads us. Okay, so this is another type of enemy. It's called the giant fly, and basically the giant flies tend to drop a ton of powders. So right now you see I have acceleration powder, health powder, chaos powder, but I have also filled out completely my inventory. So if I will want to get anything, I will be forced to destroy one of these bowls and the single nail which I'm carrying on myself, unless I will be able to find one of those bookshelves where I will be able to store these ingredients and then pick those which I deem the highest priority. So another giant fly. The problem here is that if each of them will be dropping a different sort of powder, I will be just totally boned because I do not have the inventory for this. See? So let's get rid of you so I can pick up the lentil seeds. So the cool thing is that obviously this came with one of the later updates. Originally when I went into the dungeon, when the game first launched, that is, the giant flies were not dropping anything. They were mostly a big nuisance and they can group up on you and you will take just a massive ton of damage. And you just have to deal with them, like in real life, when a fly is flying around in your room and it's getting on your nerves pretty damn much. So I don't want to actually drop 20 fletch, that would be pretty damn idiotic. But I do want to... Okay, let's take a look. 2 health potions. There's no freaking way in hell I'm dropping off those. 2 life powder, 3 chaos powder, 3 death powder, acceleration powder, and health powder. I only studied the acceleration powder, and I have no idea which these are. So how about we get rid of you? Slowing powder. No, we did not study you. Pumpkin seed, lentil seed. Order powder. Wow, we are grabbing a ton of ingredients here. Oh boy, there's just so many flies here. I am really freaking out right now because this can end up in way too many variations of powders which I cannot basically carry in my inventory. Okay, we're gonna drop the lentil seed, I'm sorry. And these are onion seeds, but we are already cultivating gold quality ones, so I don't need it. And this is a toxic powder. Wow, okay. So the cool thing here is, no, unfortunately I cannot utilize this bookshelf, which sucks. But we have found our way to the lower level of this dungeon. Still not being tired. So now we are basically forced to return to the entrance of the dungeons through which we arrived to this level. Wow, this is a long way. And now we have to go up here. If there's gonna be like one room for which I had to return, of course there is. Oh, at least we don't have to wait too long before we head to level 4, or which one is it? We don't need this type of seed. I think that's the beet seed, so we should be perfectly fine. And now the question is if I actually do remember the way to the freaking staircase. So I will see you in a few seconds. Yeah, okay, I am back. Let's see if we can get deeper. Beautiful. So far okay, so here we have our first Iron Maiden. This is one of the more advanced type of enemy which tends to attack you by basically tackling you in this sort of fashion. I'm gonna get rid of the wheat seed and I'm gonna pick up the bloody nails just because these are requested items by Snake. So we need bucket of blood and 5 bloody nails. We have only 2, so we require more. But if you start coming across the Iron Maidens in a level, you will be only coming across more and more difficult enemies from then on, so do not worry. 30 is the max of fletch which we can carry. We can still stack up metal scrap. We have quite a few bat wings, so that's gonna be awesome. This one pumpkin seed is definitely gonna cause an issue. Okay, let's take a look. Whoa! There's just so many of them. So the best way to tackle some of these enemies, obviously, all the way from bats to the Iron Maidens to more advanced enemies like giant spiders and all sorts of other creepy crawlies. You just dodge them, then you approach them, you swing your sword, you try to kill them. If it's a more resistant enemy, or wow, at least you all are coming from one direction. So this was fast. If you are dealing with more advanced enemy and you did not wait for, I don't know how many in-game days, weeks, months to go finally into the dungeon, of course, you might come across receiving much higher damage from them, so definitely try to keep dodging their attacks, such as I try to do at least with the bats. And then you just simply approach them. Wow! No! This was bad. And we are already getting tired. The bats are not even doing that much damage, which is funny. I'm gonna leave with so many freaking powders, I don't even know if I will be able to store them in the church cellar. Okay. And with one swoop, we managed to kill them all. So what's the max? Max is 99. Cool. Actually, right now I do not have any iron at my home, so I would rather pick up another stack of the metal scrap. Yeah, I'm sorry, buddy, but I'm gonna go with the powders for now. And here's the issue. I do not remember from which way we came to this section, so it's most likely that I will be actually running around like a complete dumbass trying to find my way back to the surface, which might take a while. Of course, I'm gonna save you from watching me try and pull that off, but at least we have came across one end of the hallway. 30 slime or green jelly is the max which we can store in our inventory. That's cool. I'm gonna get rid of you. Most likely, I'm not sure if I will keep the green jelly. Another stack is not that important to me right now. This will be annoying because our energy will be slowly depleting and I will be forced therefore to use the stuff like pancakes and such in order to refill my energy bar. None of these bookshelves want to cooperate. Please, we should have sufficient amount of bloody nails for Snake, which will not be that much fun because of course he will just give us more work to do. Okay, so let's try to remember how I managed to get here. Was I in here before? God, I do not remember. Yep. Down here. I'm really sorry, but that's the thing about these dungeons. They are intentionally created this way so that you get lost. I don't know if any of you played the original Wolfenstein 3D where you actually had to learn the layouts of each level in order to progress further in the game. Yes, I'm that old. I know that there are even older versions, but I mean, let's face it, like, usually people do know the game that I'm talking about, or basically they should know. Okay. So, ton of powders. And now the question is, okay, so 30 bat wings is max stacks, which you can carry. Man, we're gonna leave with so much iron. I'm so happy about that. I'm gonna have to study all these powders in order to know what to do with them, and also I'm gonna have to look up a ton of information on the wiki page where these powders can be basically used for alchemy. Not sure if I want to try now if we cleared out the entire dungeon. So if I remember correctly, I need to go up here. Or maybe I totally screwed up already. Did I screw this one up already? No? Okay. Oh, awesome. Awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna go into the bed. It's getting dark. I'm gonna get rid of this effect. I'm gonna load up these smelters. I'm gonna study all these powders. And I just realized that I kind of need paper to have more science points. So I might sacrifice some of the bat wings to make some paper. So let's go through all these powders. I'm gonna get some nice points out of this, even blue ones, even green ones. Thankfully I don't actually have to utilize my fate points for this. Life powder. Sure, let's study the fletch. Here I actually do need to utilize those points. Let's study the jello or jelly. Anything else? No, I don't want to break apart the chapters. Let's study the moth and the butterflies. I'm gonna drop off all the powders basically here at the rack. Hopefully there will be sufficient amount of space to maintain everything. Beautiful. I'm gonna take the moth and the butterfly. I'm gonna store it here. Yeah, okay, so what else? What else? I do want to keep the bat wings here. So we have now 46 of them. So that should work for us for a while. Therefore, I will not have to skin the corpses once they start coming back in after I fill in the small cart with carrots for Donkey. Because if you remember, this actually devalues the quality of the corpse, and we're all about the quality. I will not be shipping anything to the merchant as of now. the thing is, even if I would make those crates, someone has to actually carry them from point A to point B. So for that, you require, of course, the zombie logistics. You require one zombie, and this zombie will be dropping off the crates at the store so that by the time when merchant arrives, you can get the sales. So we managed to get rid of the tired effect. Heck, let's make 2 more stacks of pancakes. I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna drop off you. I'm gonna try to drop off you. And we're just gonna load up these smelters and let them smelt away to clear out the inventory or the free slots in my chest so that I can put away all the stuff. So I'm gonna need the bloody nails obviously for Snake, so I'm gonna drop off those right now to him. That this one stick is just annoying as frick, but okay. So we are still perfectly fine when it comes to HP and energy and all the other stuff. I do need to take the weight into the cellar because I will require it for further beer crafting. I really hate that I can only make one at a time. Look at this, 50 water for 1 beer. That's just horrible. Okay, so let's go take a look if Snake will be willing to talk with us. And we have also decorated the room, so we should be fine. So give him the nails for which we should be able to obtain the fake royal stamp.
Oh.
What the heck?
Oh.
Did he just summon a chicken after all this work? Amen. Okay, this is the annoying thing. Why can't I keep at least this chicken for feathers and eggs? Yes, we actually do know. What? No, 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 no. I do need my hands. So Snake needs something from the astrologer, and of course, the astrologer will want something in return. But the thing here is, this will be in 2 days. So I need a royal stamp. We have the stamp, And about the necklace, I'm still wondering about that necklace. It's huge, but also in the previous versions of the game, you were unable to get into the fort. Okay, so if we know from the previous visions that the events took place over 200 years ago, this means that even Snake was born at that time, but he did age. Some of these people are just aging in really weird fashion. Oh, it's not any kind of a spell, dummy. Oh, come on, man. Really? Okay, this will be one awkward conversation. How the heck is this a win-win situation for you? Okay, well, I will end the episode here. Obviously, this was not too much related to the Stranger Sins DLC, but I do not want to do way too many episodes from the dungeon at once. It will be just way too annoying. So what might happen is that this will be a two-parter, and of course after that I will show you more content after I do some prep work for the Stranger Sins DLC. We'll need to speak to Clotho to grow the giant carrot because we want the Centurion's helmet from the farmer, who will not let us into his house without it, and all sorts of other stuff. Also, I need to start running supplies to the merchant shop and to our inn, and I'm not sure if the bronze quality beer will be accepted. Also, I will need to furnish the inn, and I will need to create the pallets onto which the alcohol is stacked onto. As long as the alcohol is kept there, the Yorick will be able to actually sell it to the villagers and will be able to turn profit. And I would like to have some sort of continuous process of creating these beverages so that we do not end up running out suddenly and there will be some issue with this. So there's just gonna be a lot of work involved overall. So hopefully you guys did enjoy the short runs in the dungeon, and hopefully I will see you on the next one here on Not Your Professional Walkthroughs channel, and I wish you all the best in the meantime, and hopefully I will see you soon. Check out the channel in the meantime, and bye bye.